Hey gang, today we're going to talk about carry letters. And they may be called something different where you're at, but where we're from, a carry letter is what they call a note from your doctor telling whoever may read it that you are under their care, or also your therapist, that you are under their care and you are transsexual or transgender, and that you should be referred to as a female. Now, obviously, if you're trans male, that carry letter will say the opposite, that you should be referred to as male in all of the forms, paperwork, any way they want to talk to you, you're a female. And I know when I first got mine from a doctor that's treating me for hormonal replacement therapy, he's not treating me for hormonal replacement therapy, he's treating me with hormonal replacement therapy. It made me feel very justified, or it made me feel more
validated.
Validated, sorry, yes, validated. I'm so terrible with words.
That's why I'm here.
It made me feel more validated. It was really fun to read the letter. So I made a couple copies, I laminated them, I put one in my glove box in case I got pulled over by the police officers and they had a problem with trans people or something and they needed some education. Or before anything might have happened, but you know, any kind of negative situation, they needed to know who they were talking to, you know, and how they should refer. Now, there's a lot of, it's not a shield, okay? The carry letter is not a shield. It's not going to stop bullets or anything like that, but it will strengthen your argument, okay? If you happen to be using the ladies' room and someone takes offense and they call management and management stops you and says you shouldn't be in there, and you'll tell them I'm transsexual or I'm transgender, and you know, and that's why I use the ladies' room, and well, we're going to call the police, and you know, they're going to give you a ticket for indecent exposure or something like that. You can show the police your carry letter, and they can still give you the citation. As I said, it's not a shield. But when you go to court to fight this thing, it validates you into the court, okay? This is another reason why you want to get your doctor and your therapist involved in this sort of thing through the carry letter. If you're ever involved in a self-defense situation where someone attacks you for whatever reason and you have to defend yourself and you find yourself in court because you injured this person or for disturbing the peace or reckless endangerment or something like that, charges that could be filed against you while in the process of defending yourself. The mindset of a female in a self-defense situation is treated differently than a male. The ability to defend yourself in that situation is looked upon by the court system as lesser or in a different aspect or a different way than a male would be. So if you can present to the court the fact that you are a female or you are a woman, and then your doctor and your therapist will come in and testify, then it may be seen as more reasonable for you to have defended yourself the way you did. Okay? But in most jurisdictions, if you find yourself in a self-defense situation and you prevail, you're going to be seen as a man in a dress who caught some guy off guard. You caught him by surprise. He didn't know you could swing that hard or punch that hard, and you won the fight. Okay, and that's how you're going to be looked upon unless you can prove otherwise. And this documentation goes a long way towards that end. Of course, you're going to need a lawyer, and you're going to need to get your doctor and the therapist into there too. But okay, when they're booking you and everything like that, it's really cool if they book you as a female or as a woman for the records in the court. I'm going to turn this over to Karen.
I'm still kind of working on my carry letter, but there is so much need for one that I feel. I've had a couple of situations which were kind of scary at best. But as far as using the washroom, I don't hesitate to use the women's washroom. I've never been asked not to use the women's washroom or anything like that. So I've never had to present or explain to a police officer why I'm using the women's washroom. But I could most certainly see why a carry letter would go a long way in that situation. My more of a horror story, there's really kind of two of them. I was pulled over it was when I was first coming out, all right, dressed up, going out to a local club, and I'm not doing anything wrong, but I get pulled over by a town, all right. We're just doing a courtesy check. Holds up my driver's license and says, well, this picture does not match the person that's driving this car. And of course, everybody has heard words like that coming from a police officer, and you expect the worst right away. All right. Well, nothing really can happen to you for driving a car dressed like a woman. All right. There's nothing much that's going to happen to you. But what he explained to me was the need for the carry letter in order to tie what he sees in front of him to the legal you.
Trusting he would be trusting that your letter was actually written by a lawyer. You didn't just make it up on your own.
Right.
And possibly his agency had trained them to maybe in the knowledge of these carry letters. So they would be, that would be something that they would recognize. Yeah.
So he was a very nice police officer. He said that more as a shock to me, probably to stress the importance of having a carry letter. A couple of years later, we all go through trials and tribulations with this, all right? For years and years, I drank heavily, all right? It caused a lot of problems within my life. DUI was one of them, all right? It was such a nightmare story from the word go, all right? I was put into a male holding pen. Talk about pre-contact clues.
Because you were dressed as a woman when you got pulled over.
Right, all right. They want to see pictures in the mugshot of you as they pulled you over. So right away, I wanted to get out of the makeup, the wig, everything, become male, boom, fit in, But they're shoving this stuff back on me, saying, well, no, we have to get pictures of you, all right? That just absolutely decreased my bargaining power through every step of the court system, all right? I was put in, as I said, into a male holding pen, pre-contact clues. I'm surprised I didn't walk out of there with either a knife or whatever, just absolutely. There were two gentlemen standing in front of me just saying the same thing over and over again, exactly what Rachel has mentioned in her pre-contact clues. If I had a carry letter, I probably wouldn't even been put into that pen, all right? Separate room off to the side, all right? Throughout the whole court process, it was an absolute nightmare. If I would have had a letter stating that I was a transgender woman, then I would have had a little bit of bargaining power within the court system. The court system just viewed me as a crazy, messed up guy in a dress. And it just took away absolutely everything that I had as far as bargaining power and jail time, max penalty. You're just one crazy guy. And of course, last words out of the judge, go see a therapist.
Go see a therapist, yeah. Thanks.
Get a letter. While you're there, get a damn letter.
Right.
Your thoughts?
So I had not a cover letter, that's, I'm looking for a job, so those are cover letters. But I had a carry letter that I got from a therapist years ago, but I've never really had a need for one. And the problem being a girl is that you have this person, that person, things go here, and so I have no idea where it went to. It has disappeared off. but it's somewhere in all the chaos of my gross self. So I should find it now that we've had this talk, because I can see the importance of it.
Or get a new one from your therapist that you have now.
That's right. Mine would have been dated like 19,
You know what, that's good. I'm glad you brought that up, because you might, if you have a carry letter and it's 25 years old, God bless you, you might want to get it updated. This sort of documentation, or this sort of dates and things like that on documentation, are what the courts would look at. So that's important.
I think having it in your car then negates the whole problem of the purses. You take and put it in your glove box, and then if something happens, even if you're in a restroom, but if your car's there, you can, assuming they let you go to your car, you can validate who you are via this letter.
Well, you can, don't forget it's in your car, and tell them it's in your car. You pull a carry letter out and hand it to a transphobic manager at a restaurant, you'll be lucky if it's still there when the police arrive. And we've all had to deal with, I don't know about, I shouldn't say that. Kara and I have had to deal with police officers over the years, driving too fast, perfect little angel, and driving too fast or under the influence. In my experience, police officers have always been very professional and gentlemanly. And actually, I do drive too fast, and this just happened to me recently. In fact, the police officer was so nice to me, I sent him a gift. I got him a gift and sent it to him after the fact, thanking him for his professionalism. It made me feel really good. It just made me feel just like a regular person, which I am. And that's how they're supposed to do it.
You are.
Hey, love and peace to all, guys. And let's just try to accept one another for who we are.